Okay, the first question 8. It is given a function fx x square minus 6x plus 9. By sketching the graph of function f, determine whether f has an inverse function or not. Give your justification. So this is a quadratic graph lah. So quadratic graph, I am very sure you already learned in your Form 4 how to draw. Form 4 Chapter 1 Mathematics already know how to draw, right? Although they never gave us the domain, the question is not for us to draw actually. Want to test whether you can detect or not this function got inverse or not. So we try to draw first x squared minus 6x plus 9. Okay, maybe you uh, okay, fx is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 9. So you already know that when fx is 0, then x square minus 6x plus 9 equals to 0. And when you solve this through your calculator, okay, let me try this. You should be getting x minus 3 only, correct or not? X minus 3 only. X minus 3 equals to 0. So x equals to 3. So from here you get a point, right? 3, 0. And then try this one when fx is 0. How about when x equals to 0? When x equals to 0, fx should be 9, correct or not? You ganti here 0, here at x square, and you ganti here 6x as 0, so you left with 9. So here you get 0, 9 as your function. So when you draw a graph, okay, so it only touch one point, 3. So maybe like this lah. This is your graph. So here is your 3, 3, 0, and this should be your 9. Okay, so that's how you draw lah. Fx, and this is your x. So if you see this function, you want to determine whether, okay, this is the shape of the graph. You want to determine whether f as an inverse function or not. You need to do your horizontal test. So horizontal test, you see it cut out as 2 point, right? So this fx does not have inverse function, as it intersects more than 1 point when horizontal line test is conducted. So you draw the shape 1 mark, you tell does not have inverse 1 mark, and your explanation 1 mark. That's how you get your 3 marks here. Okay. Okay, so overall this graph you don't have the inverse. Okay, but then question B, suddenly they asking inverse, correct or not? So you might be thinking, just now we tell we don't have inverse, why suddenly we got inverse? They tell it has inverse when the domain x is more than 3. Find out the value of constant 3. So just now when we do, the roots is 3, right? So if you are considering only this part of the graph, you can draw the inverse. You can draw the inverse, correct or not? So x more than 3. X more than 3, you get like this. So you can draw the inverse. You can draw the inverse like that. Maybe 3, 0. So 0, 3. Maybe like that. Okay, only this part. So what I meant to tell is the whole graph you cannot have the inverse, but a portion of the graph can. when it is more than its roots. So part 1, f inverse for the domain x more than 3 should be a should be 3 lah. Okay, so the inverse can exist when x is more than or equals to 3, as I told you from the graph. So here they tell you x more or greater than a, that means your a is equals to 3. And number 2, what is the f inverse? Okay, we need to calculate the f inverse lah. And for part 2, b part 2, I think it's a little bit out of the chapter 1 already. You want to find an inverse function of a quadratic, you need to change it to the completing square method first. Okay, completing square method. So how to do that? Actually, your calculator can do that. Okay, you completing square method means it should be in this form lah. X plus p square plus q, your fx. Okay, we want to change in this form. How to do this form? Okay, wait, let me see in your calculator. Okay, so in your calculator, when you do like normally how you factorize this x square minus 6x plus 9, right? You do in your calculator. When you do in your calculator, it will pop up the answer x equals to 3, and then press equal again. It will show the minimum of y equal to ax square bx plus c, x equals to 3, and y equals to 0. Okay, you make it negative and ganti here for the p. Q you can straight away ganti. That's how you do the completing square using your calculator. So this one you will learn in your chapter 2 lah. Okay, so x minus 3 square plus 0, no need to put 0 lah, is equal to fx. Okay, this is your fx lah. Okay, now you change to this form ready. Okay, now let's do the inverse lah. So let fx equals to y and x equal to f inverse y. So what is your fx? X minus 3 square equals to y. In another way, if you don't understand what I explained here, x minus 3, you just see. You factorize this, you get x minus 3, right? X minus 3 multiply x minus 3, right? That means x minus 3 square, right? That's what I write here. You can assume like that also. Okay, simple. So you want to make x as your subject, the square come here first. When you do that, it becomes square root y, and then x equal to square root y plus 3. Okay, and then you substitute here, f inverse y is equal to square root y plus 3, and then you change it back to f inverse x, square root x plus 3. That will be the inverse, and it's tally with our answer. Okay, B part 1, B part 2, and finally, hence using the graph f for the domain x approach x more than 3, sketch the function f inverse and state its range. Ayo. Okay, never mind. Okay, let's do this part C. Okay, now you need to draw graph more than 3 lah, this part. Okay, this part. So very simple the one actually. Okay, you must start with 3. Before that, you draw y equal to x. Okay, y equal to x. So this should be your 3 lah. Okay, because if you start here 3 0, later you must start here 0 3, correct not? Okay, so your graph will be like this. Okay, this part, the green color part I draw for you just now. Okay, and then this is your y equal to fx. And now you need to draw the inverse. Y equal to F inverse X. And what they asking? They asking, okay, sketch ready function F inverse, state its range. You want the range. Okay, range of F inverse is equal to domain of F. I already tell you so many times. So domain of F, remember the domain here, X more than 3, right? We just now tell the domain is X more than or equal to 3. So F inverse range also more than or equals to 3. Until where we don't know, so we just put F inverse more than or equal to 3. And that is the answer. Maybe you add the X here. Okay, hopes that clears out, Alright.